5 gang member reacting to life sentence in court. Alan McCarty. McCarty, a father who lost custody of his children, made death threats to the judge who ruled against him. His erratic behavior and threats not only led to his arrest, but also a 20-year prison sentence. In this video, we'll take a closer look at what happened in this case. It all started with a phone call made by McCarty to the police department. In the call, he threatened to commit a crime if his children were not returned to him. He said, "I got a gun pointed at your building. Was your Judge Warren at you gonna bring that down in handcuffs, and I'm gonna execute us riding the street?" This phone call led to his arrest. McCarty's erratic behavior continued in court during his appearances. He was confrontational and disrespectful towards the judge. In one instance, he asked the judge if she wanted to take his children from him and then threatened her. He said, "You win it. I'm trying to think over here." His behavior led to him being moved to another room where he could watch the proceedings through a one-way glass. After being found guilty of the original threats made to the judge, McCarty was sentenced to 20 years in prison. The judge also issued an additional 10-day sentence due to his behavior in the courtroom. McCarty's outbursts and threats not only impacted his own life, but also disrupted the proceedings of the court. Tanner Dashner. Tanner Dashner's tragic story underlines the devastating outcomes of drunk driving. On November 1st, 2018, while impaired, Dashner got behind the wheel of his SUV while under the influence of alcohol, leading him down a dangerous road and ultimately to an accident that claimed 5 young lives and left another wounded survivor, though she has since spoken publicly about their injuries. Families of victims have been left to endure lifelong grief from losing loved ones, while any survivors likely experience severe physical and psychological damages. It's a stark reminder of the significance of making informed and responsible choices when drinking and driving or serving alcohol to customers. Attorney John Phillips immediately filed 2 civil suits against On the Edge Bar and Grill and its staff after Dashner was involved in an auto accident, alleging they outserved and failed to stop him from leaving while under the influence. Phillips contends Dashner posted an image with the caption "sloshed" when at the bar, indicating he was already highly inebriated. On the Edge Tavern was associated with another incident, wherein an 18-year-old had consumed too much alcohol before driving off and colliding into Claudia Bradley, which resulted in her tragic death. This raises alarm that such establishments may engage in irresponsible alcohol service that leads to tragic results. Dashner was found to have been 3 times over both legal alcohol limits and speed limits at the time of this crash, colliding with their car and then failing to stop for another collision that caused its gas tank to rupture, leading it into flames engulfing both vehicles involved and leaving families reeling with grief over senseless losses of life and traumatized knowing their loved ones have perished so violently in an inferno of flames. In 2021, a judge handed Dashner a 72.5-year prison term and gave him the opportunity to address each family directly with an apology that will likely not undo what damage had already been done. While some families expressed forgiveness while also emphasizing they will never forget their pain or losses experienced as victims of Dashner's crimes. Michael Madison. Courtrooms can often serve as places where individuals seek justice, but sometimes their emotions can run high. That was certainly the case when Michael Madison came before an Ohio court for trial for murdering 3 individuals wrapped in garbage bags and providing sexual services he knew nothing about. When victim impact statement presenter Van Terry saw Madison offer him an especially sinister smile, that was enough to cause Terry extreme distress and trigger emotional responses in him and other court attendees alike. Unthinkingly, Terry lunged at Madison without hesitation or consideration, causing havoc to reign in the courtroom as security and sheriff's deputies rushed in to subdue him, forcing his attorneys and Madison out of harm's way as Terry was let out. Finally, the judge could give her sentence. Madison received death for his crimes, which brought some level of closure for those affected by him. Terry may have made hasty decisions, but we can understand his reasoning. He had just lost someone dear, and finding out the man responsible was smiling back was likely too much for him to bear. While we do not endorse physical confrontation in courtroom proceedings, we can empathize with any emotions such as anger and pain felt by Terry's loved ones in connection with what has transpired here. At Terry's trial, no charges were filed against him, something for all of us to celebrate, as we must always bear in mind when witnessing courtroom drama, people's emotions sometimes cloud judgment. Michael Madison will now pay for his crimes. We hope the victims' families and friends find comfort knowing the person responsible will never again roam free. While court can sometimes be daunting environments, justice was done here in this instance. Christopher Dean. Christopher Dean was brutally assaulted, sodomized, and murdered by members of a criminal gang. According to reports, Dean was assaulted for more than an hour with a 2x4 and crowbar before sodomized using an object with handles, shot twice in the back of the head before being left at a MARTA station in Atlanta as collateral damage in a trunk car. The horrific act of violence illustrates the devastating toll gang violence can take on individuals, families, and communities. Gangs commonly exploit vulnerable populations such as youth living in poverty, who they use violence against in order to exert power and gain control. Gang membership often begins as an escape or way to connect, yet quickly spirals into something much darker and dangerous. Risks associated with membership range from violence and criminality through poverty and addiction issues to mental health concerns. Gang violence has an outsized influence, reaching far beyond those involved. It can create fear and trauma among communities, disrupt schools and businesses, as well as perpetuate cycles of poverty and inequality. Prevention of gang violence requires taking a multifaceted approach that includes addressing root causes like poverty and lack of education and job opportunities, as well as trauma recovery needs associated with those directly impacted by violence. As part of providing resources and support to those trying to escape gang life and rebuild their lives in positive ways, it's also crucial that they receive resources and assistance in doing so. Daniel Williams. Daniel Williams was caught after 13 years on the run, according to U.S. Marshals. According to them, Williams is charged with killing his wife and sexually molesting an 11-year-old girl before fleeing into hiding. Williams was arrested under his real name of David Williams while living in Shanghai, China, after a woman named Wang recognized him from working at one of China's universities as a former English instructor. A woman accused Williams of harassing her friend after she rejected his advances, according to U.S. Marshals office records. Williams betrayed his badge by using it over several months to become close with both the girl and single mother in question. Williams had a history of abusing his power. For instance, he tried inappropriately touching a young girl before using his position as a police officer to convince her no one would believe her if she told anyone of what had transpired. Williams had been raised in a Christian household, and many trusted him, including his wife. On the day he was scheduled to turn himself in for his crimes, however, instead fled and left her dead with gunshot wounds in their bedroom. Williams had been one of the 15 most wanted fugitives for nearly 10 years, and his capture is seen by law enforcement agencies as an achievement of significant significance. A spokesperson from U.S. Marshals expressed delight that justice had finally been served through their capture. Williams' case serves as a powerful reminder of the necessity to use power responsibly and the serious repercussions associated with abusing it. Furthermore, it highlights law enforcement officials who work tirelessly in tracking down criminals to bring them before justice. Thanks for watching the video till the end. If you liked today's video, subscribe to our channel and hit the like button for more updates.